Hello everybody, and thanks for coming by and watching this really quick video. This video is just to show you a couple of bits that I got from the online tackle shop deals, and I got one of these particular things because of my recent catch, the smoothhound. It made me realise that sometimes I may be catching some bigger fish. Hopefully that is the case in the near future, and that it would be more ideal to actually have a sling to actually put the fish in properly. I always imagined that if I ever use my weighing scales, which I always bring with me, that I'd just put the fish in a normal shopping bag and then just hook that onto the scales. But in the case of actually having a bigger fish like I had recently, the fish really barely got into that carrier bag, and it didn't feel like it was the best way to go about it either, really. So I ain't got a clue how big this is, but it might be a little bit too big for me. So the Seadra Sling, and I got a feeling this might be a little bit tad too big, because I didn't realise there was two versions of this. There's actually 120cm and an 80cm version. This is the 120, and it actually does feel quite heavy. I wasn't expecting it to feel as heavy as that. There's a bit of difference between the 80cm one and the 120, and the fish that I've caught recently was 88cm, which means that I wouldn't have been able to measure it on the sling. Whereas at least with this one, I can actually measure it with this. It says here blonde ray, conger, huss and sharks. Okay, I got a feeling that even though it does go to 120cm, it may be a tad too big for me to take with me. Have a look at this thing. Ooh, ooh, flipping hell! Look at the size of that. I'm never going to catch a fish that big. I shouldn't say never, but it's a shame because the other one is just like quite a bit smaller. So this one goes up to 120. Oh, the 81 ends there. So there's quite a bit of difference. It's just huge. Not gonna lie, it's massive. Look, can't even get it in camera. To be quite honest with you, I could probably get in it. There's my foot. It's funny. I bet if any anglers see me on the beach, you're going to think, oh, I'm open, ain't I? An 80 is going to be more than good enough for most of the time. So that's how much it weighs out of the packaging. 2 pounds, basically, 2 pounds. I think this may be an overkill, you know. Stand it up against the height of me, you know, it's almost up to my chin from the ground. I think I'm going to have to send this back and get the 80, because that's just absolutely huge. Filleting knife, one of those things that I always say I'm going to get one. I've got a little tiny knife that I take with me, and that's ideal just for cutting up bait, but a proper filleting knife. I did remember some time back that I caught a bass, a keeper, and I was trying to fillet it without using a proper filleting knife, and I was struggling to cut that, so much so that my hand slipped and the spike, the dorsal spike, went straight up into my finger and went right up. I'm not sure what direction it went in. I think it actually went in the direction towards the nail. Either case, it was translucent. I could not see it, I could feel it, and in the end I had to literally cut across to get it out. It went straight into my finger. So this is definitely a welcome one. Definitely going to need that. There's a couple of other little bits I got, and I shall be showing you when I use these. but it's for dongles. So the Varivas circle hooks, okay, I've actually got size 3. This is size 4.0 shall I say. Size 3.0 sounds big, but when it's a full circle hook, it doesn't actually look that big, and it can easily get obscured with bigger baits. So I've caught recently that smoothhound on a size 3.0, but looking at these 4.0s, they look better to me, more suitable. You see that? Hopefully you can. Okay, you see that? It's the gap between here. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. The size 3.0s seem to be quite small, easily can be tucked away behind a squid and bluey cocktail. So I'm going to try the size 4s. And I've got these. These are to go on the bottom of the dongle rig, okay, and the idea of that is I'm going to still be able to clip this rig down onto like a Gemini splashdown. And my previous dongle rigs that I've made up, I actually used wire. It seemed to have worked absolutely fine, and I found the advantage of using wire is I can actually run my knife along the edge of it to cut off the bait. Don't know how long it's going to last, mind you, like that, but I thought I'm going to go for some proper stuff. This is the Seadra braid, 300 pounds, 5 meters. I thought I would give that a go. At least I can make some dongle rigs up with the size hooks that I think are going to be more beneficial, and with these little tiny rings on the bottom of them there, if you see that. And that's it really. It's amazing actually how much it costs for tackle, and just for a very small amount of tackle you don't need to get much. Just these 3 things here, and that the sling, admittedly that did cost like £21, but it all adds up, it really does. But it's still significantly cheaper than carp fishing, that's for sure. Well, I say that if you buy your own bait, then maybe it's not quite as cheap, because I'm talking really primarily about lugworm. For how much you pay just for 10, and the amount of lug that I would get through in a session, it wouldn't really be practical for me to buy my own lugworm. I'd have to start chopping them up and doing things like that to keep them going, because I always end up using 2 rods, and sometimes those 2 rods will have up to 2 worms on per rod if I'm using something like a Portsmouth rig, which is a loop rig. It's the same thing. So anyway, let's not ramble on any further. I will have a look at this knife and see what that's like. Not sponsored at all by any of these brands at all. I just thought that I'd share some of the things that I purchased with you, so you may find it useful to hear some feedback of what I think using it for, what I'm using it for. I will get back to you on the quality of these things, but I do like to use these things for a little bit of time before I get back to you and actually say whether they're good or not, because it's not fair to give an opinion on a product that I purchased when I haven't used it hardly any time at all, and also it's not fair to tell you that it's great when I've not even used it long enough to find out whether it's actually got some longevity in it at all. The sling, I'm going to find out how much the 80cm version is in weight. If the 80cm in weight is not much difference to this in weight, then I may just stick with what I've got here. it's going to be something that I'm going to end up using, and feeling by the quality of it, it feels like it's going to last for quite some time as well. Seadra, I do buy whatever brand seems to be selling the best thing that I'm looking for at the time. I just seem to be buying a lot of Seadra stuff recently. It seems to come up with a fair price for their stuff, and it's up there with the quality with many other brands as well. But Varivas, I've actually bought quite a few of their hooks, branded hooks, and they've been really good. I still like my mustard Nordic bends. They're very nice if you want to fish over sometimes rougher ground, and you're not intending to fish over rougher ground, in fact, but you end up getting caught and snagged in something. The Nordic bends by Mustard, they can bend out, hence their name, and you'll get your rig back. But as far as these and the other brands, I'll use whatever I need to use. These seem to be the best fared price for what you get. So Varivas, they're good quality stuff, and like I said, I've got some other Varivas hooks as well. So I'll leave you with this anyway, and I will put another video up, and I'll let you know how my rig making goes, my dongle rig making goes using these components. I'll let you know about the sling, as to whether I keep that one or not, and I will use this and see how I go with this. I don't see I'm going to have any problems with this, to be quite honest with you. It's going to be fine as long as you look after it.